She's not watching your smile. She's scanning your soul. Most men, good men, believe women choose based on charm, success, maybe a good sense of humor. But that belief is a shield, a lie we tell ourselves to avoid the deeper cut. Because women don't choose logically, they choose instinctively. She's not choosing you when she says yes. She's already chosen or rejected you, long before. In the silence, in the moment she watched how you held your ground, or lost it. Not when you performed, but when you forgot to. That's why she pulled away after the best date of your life. Why she drifted even when you were kind, consistent, patient. It's not that you failed. It's that she felt something missing deep in her biology, not spoken, not conscious, but undeniable. You see, she doesn't fall for the man who gives her attention. She falls for the man who triggers her instinct to trust. And trust real, cellular. Feminine trust is earned not through words, but through energy. She might smile, she might flirt, but that doesn't mean you're chosen. Because attraction is not selection, and attention is not commitment. She is always testing, always watching, and she decides long before she tells you. So now, if you're tired of guessing, if you're ready to stop being the man she enjoys and start being the one she follows, then understand this. This is not about tactics. It's about presence, power, stillness, and Machiavelli. Yes, Machiavelli understood the truth of feminine psychology better than most modern men ever will. These are not games. They are laws, unspoken, invisible. These are the 7 silent rules of how women choose their men, not the loudest, not the richest, but the man who moves with quiet certainty. Rule 1. Women choose men who make surrender feel safe, not controlled. You think she wants to feel safe, she does, but not in the way you've been told. She doesn't want to be wrapped in softness. She wants to be held in strength. Not the strength that dominates, but the kind that doesn't disappear. Most men confuse emotional safety with being endlessly accommodating. Always explaining, always apologizing, always bending. But that doesn't make her trust you. That makes her test you harder. Because she's not looking for someone to mirror her emotions. She's looking for someone who can contain them. She doesn't need another voice in the chaos. She needs an anchor solid, unshaken. And when Machiavelli said, "Fortune is a woman," he wasn't talking about luck. He was talking about energy. Feminine energy. Unpredictable. Emotional. Wild. And that kind of energy doesn't surrender to logic. It surrenders to presence. To the man who can hold steady when she storms. To the one who doesn't collapse when she cries, complains, or pushes. The one who doesn't trade his backbone for her approval. You try to calm her with words. She feels calmer in your silence. You try to fix her moods. She feels safer when you don't flinch. You try to reassure her, but she trusts you when you don't need to. Because deep down, she's asking one question. Can you hold me without losing yourself? If the answer is yes, she softens. If it's no, she takes the lead. And once she has to lead, the attraction dies. This is not about being cold. It's about being centered. A man who cannot be moved does not need to be loud. He speaks through his energy. And it says, "You are safe here, not because I need you, but because I won't lose myself to keep you. That's when she surrenders, not to you, but to the stillness you carry. Rule 2. Women choose men who keep them curious. Predictability doesn't key her feel safe. It makes her feel bored. And boredom is where attraction dies. You think giving her full access to your thoughts, your schedule, your heart will make her stay. But what actually makes her stay is the not knowing. Not because you're hiding something, but because your soul moves deeper than what can be explained. Machiavelli understood something most men miss: power lives in perception, not in truth, in how truth appears. And in love, appearance is everything. Mystery creates gravity. Ambiguity creates desire. You want her to chase you, then stop handing her the manual. Let her feel you without fully understanding you. Don't be confusing. Be ungraspable. Not vague, just untamed. She doesn't want every page of you at once. She wants the tension of unfolding, the thrill of discovery, the whisper of depth behind every glance. If she knows where you are, what you think, and how you feel at all times, there's nothing left to wonder about. But when you speak with intention, move with purpose, and disappear into focus, she starts asking different questions. Where is he? What's on his mind? Who else is noticing him? Why can't I stop thinking about him? And in those questions, she bonds, not to your answers, but to your essence. Curiosity is not a tactic. It's a reflection of your depth. Leave something sacred. Hold a part of yourself untouchable. Let her feel that no matter how close she gets, you still belong to yourself. That's what keeps her drawn. Not to a man she understands, but to a man she feels and can't fully explain. Rule 3. Women choose men who are desired by others. Power is never just about what you hold. It's about what others feel when they look at you. You could have all the strength in the world, but if no one sees it, it doesn't exist in her eyes. Because a woman doesn't choose in isolation. She chooses through the mirror of the world. If no one acknowledges you, if no one is drawn to you, you become invisible. To her, to her instincts. But when others respect you, when your name is spoken with weight, when men turn to you, and women glance with intrigue, you shift in her mind. You're no longer just a man. You become a signal, a social proof her subconscious can't ignore. This isn't about peacocking. It's not about flaunting. It's about not hiding. When your presence holds value in the room, when your voice changes the tone, when your absence is felt, she feels it too, and something ancient in her responds. Not because you're trying to be wanted, but because you are. When another woman laughs at your joke, when someone compliments your work, when you walk into a room and don't need to speak to be noticed, her body picks up the signal before her mind can catch it. You are wanted, and what is wanted becomes precious. That's the truth most men miss. They seek her validation in private, but ignore the reflection of their worth in public. Don't chase her attention. Build gravity. Let the world respond to who you've become. Because she's not just watching you, she's watching who else is watching you. And when you carry yourself like a man who's respected without asking, you become a man she can't ignore even in silence. Rule 4. Women choose men who lead emotionally. Machiavelli once said, "True power doesn't shout. It sets the tone and lets the world adjust." In love, that power becomes emotional leadership, not control, not dominance, but anchoring. The ability to stay still while everything else moves. And trust this, she will move. She will test. She will spiral. Not to destroy you, but to find you. She needs to know, can you stay calm when she can't? Can you stay rooted when she's spinning? Most men lose themselves in her storm. They argue. They plead. They try to fix her feelings with words she never asked for. But the man she respects, he doesn't match her chaos. He contains it. He doesn't run from her emotion. He holds space for it. Not by reacting, but by leading the emotional rhythm of the room. He becomes the eye of the hurricane. And without realizing it, she starts sinking to his state. Her nervous system relaxes. Not because he told her to, but because his energy said, "We're okay." That's the kind of man she can trust. Not the one who promises stability, but the one who is stability. It's not about never feeling. It's about mastering what you feel so you don't lose your edge when it matters most. She watches how you carry pressure, how you hold yourself when she's emotional, unpredictable, even unfair. And in those moments, she doesn't need comfort. She needs a compass. A presence she can orbit without losing herself. Lead the emotional space. Not with force, but with frequency. Be the tone that calms her chaos. Be the stillness that shows her what peace feels like. Be the rhythm she begins to follow, without even knowing why. Rule 5. Women choose men who aren't afraid to walk away. The most dangerous man is not the one who yells. It's the one who could stay, but doesn't need to. Machiavelli wrote, "The ruler who does not need the kingdom is the one most feared." And in love, the kingdom is her affection, her approval, her attention. When you make her your oxygen, you stop breathing on your own. And she can feel it the moment you start orbiting her like she's your sun. She begins to test, not to play games, but to ask a question that lives beneath her awareness. Will you abandon yourself to keep me? Because if the answer is yes, she may enjoy your company, but she will never respect your soul. She pushes boundaries, cancels plans, says things to trigger you, pulls back just to see if you chase. And most men do. They explain. They plead. They justify their worth, as if value must be argued for. But the man she chooses, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't fight for a seat at a table he built. He walks, quietly, with no hate, no scene, no revenge, just stillness. And it's that silence, the absence of begging, the clean withdrawal of presence that haunts her. Because she realizes he was never trying to win her. He was simply there, fully, until the moment respect was gone. This kind of man doesn't need the crown, because he is the kingdom. And when he walks away, he doesn't leave to punish her. He leaves to protect his peace. That's what makes him unforgettable. Not his charm, not his effort, but his willingness to lose what cost him himself. The man who doesn't fear walking away is the man she can't stop thinking about. Because deep down, he's the only one she truly trusts. Rule 6. Women choose men whose words, actions, and values align. You can say all the right things, speak with charm, quote wisdom, make promises that sound like poetry, But if your actions don't match your words, she feels it. Not later. Not when it's too late. She feels it immediately. Because her body doesn't trust what your mouth says. It trusts what your energy confirms. And when there's a split between your image and your integrity, between your tone and your truth, something in her pulls away. You can't fake consistency. You can't perform alignment. Your word has to be your bond, not a tool you use, but a reflection of the man you've become. Your presence has to carry your values, not just when you're being watched, especially when you're not. Because she's not just observing what you say, she's watching who you are when no one's around to praise you. She sees how you handle temptation, how you speak about others, how you live when there's nothing to gain, and when she senses contradiction, even if she doesn't say it, something sacred breaks. The attraction doesn't vanish in a scream. It fades in a quiet realization. You're not who you said you were, but the man who is whole, who says little, but lives much, who acts without needing applause. That man earns her trust. And trust is deeper than love. Trust is rarer than beauty. Trust is the foundation she builds her surrender on. Live aligned. Not for her, but for you. Be the same man in the silence that you are in the spotlight. And her loyalty will not be bought. It will be given. Willingly. Completely. Because you didn't earn it with charm, you earned it with truth. Rule 7. Women choose men with willpower and purpose. You are not here to orbit her life. You are here to build your own. That's not arrogance, it's alignment. Because the moment your world starts revolving around her, you stop becoming the man she was drawn to in the first place. She doesn't fall for the man who abandons his mission for her love. She falls for the man who keeps moving forward, even when she's watching, especially when she's not. Machiavelli didn't admire the man who waited to be chosen. He respected the one who chose himself, who shaped his path, who bore the weight of vision and carved direction from chaos. A man with no purpose is like a ship without wind wandering, desperate, easy to sink. But a man grounded in why he wakes up each morning, a man who has faced the question of what he's willing to suffer for, he doesn't chase women. He attracts them, not with tactics, but with trajectory. She sees the difference. In his eyes, in the way he talks about time, in how he protects his energy like it's sacred. Because to him, it is. This kind of man doesn't beg for love. He lets love witness his evolution. And in that witnessing, she falls deeper. Not because he made her the center of his universe, but because she sensed he already belonged to something greater. That's what makes him magnetic. Not the pursuit of her, but the pursuit of purpose. So remember this. She doesn't want to lead your life. She wants to join a man who already knows where he's going. Become that man, and she won't just want you. She'll respect you. And respect is the foundation of every real connection that lasts. She doesn't choose with logic. She chooses with her nervous system, with her body, with the unspeakable feeling that arises when a man's presence speaks louder than his words. When you are calm in chaos, not because you pretend to be, but because you've been through it. When you're focused in mystery, not because you're hiding, but because you don't need to explain. when you're feared in silence, not from threat, but from the unshakable certainty in your posture, when you are centered in purpose, not for applause, but because you finally know why you exist. You stop being the man who waits to be chosen. You become the man who chooses. And that man, he is remembered. He is respected. He is desired even in his absence, because his value is not proven, it's felt. If this pierced through the noise, if this touched a raw place inside you, the part of you that's tired of performing, tired of proving, tired of asking to be seen, then let that part speak. Comment: I stop performing, and send this to a brother who's still chasing love with his eyes closed. Don't let him drown in illusion too long. Let's build men who don't just attract women, but who attract truth, clarity, stillness, presence. Because in the end, women don't choose the loudest man, or the richest, or the most agreeable. They choose the one who can't be moved.